If you're new to Street Fighter like me, becoming master is no easy feat. Not to mention, it's even harder with a bottom tier. When A.K.I was released, she was immediately deemed so terrible due to her unconventional neutral game, long recovery fireball that was easily reacted to, and lack of defensive options. For these reasons, she was placed at the bottom of tier lists by pro players, and she even caused content creators to make salt videos about dropping the character. So, after facing the onslaught of Ken, Luke's, and Deejay's, I also dropped the character, writing this message in the A.K.I Discord. But with SF6 Season 2 on the horizon and the accompanying balance patch, I set a goal to hit master to say I did it before she was buffed and while she was bottom tier. And I did.
You lose to fucking throws and mids, you can hold my nuts.
Here's what I learned. Okay, but some preamble first. This is not really an A.K.I tips video. This is more so things I learned while starting SF6 and grinding to master. That being said, I think A.K.I is actually pretty good, and she has some pretty decent matchups into the more commonly played top tiers. She is hard, but she is also insanely rewarding. I kind of think sky's the limit with the character. There's so much to learn about her. But you're able to do it with just a basic game plan. You don't really need to go all out, but if you want to learn all that stuff, it does help. Her shimmy game is really good. It could delete health bars, which makes throwing really good with her, and I think her drive rush is actually really strong, and most importantly, A.K.I is cool. The first thing I want to talk about is you need to play ranked to get good at ranked. I know this sounds kind of dumb, but when I was learning Street Fighter 6 and A.K.I in general, I was really scared of messing up combos because links were kind of new to me. This was my second fighting game. I learned at the end of Guilty Gear Strive that I learned a lot while playing long sets because I used to only grind ranked, and I kind of did the inverse of that, where when I started Street Fighter 6, I mostly played long sets. That was helpful because I got my execution down, and I wholeheartedly believe that like getting your execution down in a fighting game is like the fastest way to improve your execution and your flowchart. Just grinding out games and getting it down really helps, but it didn't really prepare me for the absolute degeneracy that is Street Fighter rank. For some context, I've tried a bunch of characters out before: A.K.I, Manon, JP, Jury, Chun-Li, but I got my JP placed in Diamond 1, which got my A.K.I placed in Diamond 1 as well. And I kind of sabotaged myself. I skipped out on grinding plat. I was so used to watching high level Street Fighter that I thought once I got to Diamond, like I thought that like the degenerate gameplay would only be from like bronze to gold, maybe some plat players, and then once you get to Diamond, that's all gone. I was completely wrong about that. Just an anecdote from my Discord matchmaking. I would play a Cammy who was really good at TK dive kicking, and I actually lost. I got knocked out of Evo when I was playing Manon by a Cammy who would do the same thing. So I tried to figure out how to fight against that kind of playstyle, but in ranked, not a lot of Cammys do that. I was kind of fighting a different kind of Cammy, right? The ones who try to like jam in crouch median kicks, who do spin knuckle, and they don't really play footsies or try to do those TK dive kicks. So yeah, the whole point is you need to play ranked to be exposed to different types of play styles. There's going to be either really YOLO gameplay, which is really overwhelming, but if you can stop like YOLO DIs, drive rush check, anti-air, you'll be good to go. And you need to learn how to stop people who just walk back into the corner and try to jump over you. Just walk them down. Just make the game into a strand type game. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, in general, jump back is really strong. You can't do anything about it. At the end of the day, they're giving up space. Being exposed to this type of gameplay that was not like patient footsies, like, you know, the mind games and whatnot, leads into my next point, and that's learning how not to get tilted. At the end of the day, if you lose to these players, they outplayed you. I went into ranked with a really bad mindset after a certain point, like, oh my god, these players are not going to play like how I want to play. They don't have to do that. It's up to you to stop them. The first thing you should do that helps is making good vibes a habit, basically. So compliment your opponent. If they DP on wake up and you got hit, then don't be like, oh my god, they DP on every wake up. You should be like, oh, good DP. You've been taking pressure every time instead of baiting it. For A.K.I specifically, I got really tilted when people would just jump at me round start, and I was like, oh my god, my fireball's so slow, yada. But last round I did round start fireball, so I'm not rotating my options. So I started to think, oh, that was a good jump. Me thinking, oh, this guy just jumps at round start every time is a sort of ego protection. They might have just read that I've been doing fireball at round start too much. By believing that they made a good read, it helps me not get tilted. Something I learned while doing my beginner back at Strive run, instead of getting nervous, when when I saw like the two characters on screen, you need to think about like the matchups, right? At first, when I saw this versus screen where people make their faces, I was like, oh my god, it's Ken, it's Ryu, it's Honda, they're gonna play like animals. But instead, what I started doing, and what you should be doing if you're not, is just thinking like, if the matchup is new, who is the attacker and defender in this situation? There's a lot of Ryus who have been playing since Street Fighter 1 who will just do Hadouken. So I gotta get in and attack. Ken, it can go either way. You just gotta feel it out and adjust. Maybe do Dragon Lashes and Drive Rushes, so you gotta be ready to check those. Or they might just play the Hadouken style. You might never know. Something that also helped was taking breaks when I played ranked, especially if I dropped a combo. I would get really tilted if I dropped a combo. Aki's combos there's a lot she has to do because she has the poison mechanic, and she has like shimmy combos and stuff like that. Instead of grinding it out, I would just go to the next one and get like really tilted. And especially if you drop the combo and you do an H slash, if they know the punish, it's like a lot of damage if you mess up, because it's like minus like a million or whatever. If you miss something or something is giving you a problem, it's good to kind of step out of it and tackle the problem instead of thinking like, oh, I'll just deal with it later. It's good to take notes, and sometimes you just want to play, but you know, if something was really, really bad, then it's good to take a break after a tilting misplay and lab it out. Deep into like Diamond 4 or Diamond 5, I blocked a Blanca DP mid-screen, and I didn't know I had to like micro walk to punish it, and it was like, oh my god, he just got like a free DP for no reason, when I could have deleted him. And then I fought them later in the rank session, and I was able to properly punish the DP. But come on, man, I blocked it. Just let me hit a button and delete him, dude. So stupid. Cammy H knuckle, which is a really big problem for Aki. I could either like whiff punish it if they misplace it, or I can check it with standing medium punch because it's really active. You know, taking things to lab, that kind of like leads to my next point. I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but anti-airs and playing with goals in mind really helps. When I first started playing ranked again, I had my level 3 combos on lock. I needed to learn like a level 1 combos, so that was like a easy way for me to kind of get back into it. Land my level 1 combos, full drive rush kill combos that don't take level 3, which kind of helps because like I'm using meter early instead of like waiting to cash out on level 3, which helped me secure some games that I normally could have with level 3, but I was able to save meter. That kind of got me through Diamond 2 and Diamond 3. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit rage queuing through those, but I was grinding it out, getting more combos down, being more consistent with my combos. And then Diamond 4, I set a new goal to become better with my H slash anti-air, which is Aki's special move anti-air. She gets a lot of damage because she can combo off of it if they're poisoned. But Aki has 3 anti-airs, and this one was the first one I tried to learn, but there was times like I would get empty jumped or I would miss it, and I kind of like skewed towards not using it, and I used her 2 other anti-airs, which are normals, and they're a lot easier to land. But I felt like I was missing out on a lot of damage, and I just like kind of took it to lab and found out like where it's most consistent, what's safer to do. There's a couple of anti-airs you have to do in this game. You can do it with your normals, your DP. Aki has the 3, and then you have to do jump back normals for people who do jab cross up. That was really tilting for me at first, but I learned how to deal with that early on, and now I felt like let's take my anti-air game to the next level, because Aki could get like level 3s off of her anti-air, so it's pretty good. Through Diamond 4, I felt that as I landed these H slash anti-airs, I became way less tilted. I played for much longer without getting tilted, and when I hit them and the combos, I like would pop off. It was like really hype. So the point I'm trying to get at is when you don't focus on winning and defaulting to stuff, actively trying to implement new stuff, when you have smaller goals that isn't winning. So when I land my anti-airs, I feel good even if I lose, which like kind of took some pressure off of winning, which helped me not get tilted, which actually had a side effect of me winning more just because I kept adding new stuff to my game. Also, side note, the reason I got master, or the game I got master, was because this Ed player, he wouldn't anti-air. He would try to do PP anti-air, which is strong if people jump in with it. But you know, if I just do an empty jump, I get a free throw and they take 2k damage just because they couldn't anti-air. So it's important not only for yourself to anti-air, but like you can abuse people who can't anti-air, which is why it's like super important. I used to be really tilted about the fact that like if someone lands a jump in, they get like a big combo, and if I anti-air, I only do like a little bit. What's stopping them from keeping jumping? If they can't stop my jumps, I totally get it now. You know what I mean? So you need to make it so they can't jump, basically. I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but even at the ends of Diamond 4s and 5, I'm still finding like reasons why you need to anti-air. This kind of leads me to my next point. You should just abuse the stuff that works, right? If this person can't anti-air, then I'm going to keep jumping at them. You don't need to adapt. if people are going to mash on every wake up, why should I try to shimmy? Aki greatly benefits from shimmying. She gets a fuck ton of damage for landing a poison shimmy combo into level 3. But you know, if people are just gonna mash on every wake up, why should I shimmy? And eventually you see the matrix start to categorize players like these kind of players are gonna mash, and then these players will always delay tech. If they always delay tech, I can always go for a shimmy. You know what I mean? This doesn't work like at higher levels of play, but some people just default to defensive options, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of free, you know what I mean? But you got to identify that it's free. Don't rotate if you don't need to. I think the most important tip that I learned from this Masters run was tier lists don't matter to us. And I'm sure you've heard this a million times, like tier lists only matter at tip top level play. But even taking in that content and seeing it, it kind of just made me think like, oh man, I could be better if I played, you know, Deejay or Luke, who are just like brain dead. And whenever I fought like Ken and Ryu's and Kami's, I'd be like, oh my god, your character's so easy. Twitter Street Fighter 6 discourse sphere, it can get to you. Like, I try to be really positive, but it can like seep into your play, right? In ways that you never expected, right? Because every time I would see a character, I would just get like disdain towards it. But then I started to play for myself and really believe in the character, and I felt a lot better. Because Aki is like really fun for me. I kind of felt like, oh man, I shouldn't have listened to those people. Even though I tried to not let it get to you, like I said, it just kind of buries itself in your subconscious in ways you might not understand. So yeah, just kind of protect your media intake. Like, I started like kind of muting all the people who are really negative about Street Fighter, because let me tell you, this game is really, really fun when you don't have a bitch in your ear saying it's not. After a while, I just felt like Aki was the most fun character for me to play. I played Deejay and I kind of felt like this is fun, but I'm like kind of deleting people for doing whatever I want. Whereas, no offense to DJ players, but Aki just kind of, you know, I have to really struggle to get, once I get in, she has a really deadly game plan, which I think is more satisfying for me. And I mean, just look at the other Akis who are finding success with her, right? Broski, who fought the most consistent Street Fighter 6 player, Mena RD, and they had a down to the wire set. It was a super sick set. And Japanese Aki, Hikaru, he's almost always #1 on the legend leaderboard. So it's like, if these people are having so much success, why can't I like hit master? You know what I mean? It should be way easier than what they're doing. And I did it. So I'm really proud of myself and I'm happy. And you know, this is just the beginning of the road. There's just so much more to learn with her. And just a bonus, eventually you'll get it. Don't give up. It takes a bit of luck, especially in Diamond 5, where you can get matched with low MR masters who just give like a ton of points. Diamond 2 and 3 were probably the hardest for me, like those adjustments. Diamond 4 was kind of smooth sailing. It was a grind, but it was like smooth. And then Diamond 5 was kind of free. Eventually you get it. To be honest, I have less than 50% win rate, and this literally just feels like the beginning of the journey. I know how to stop people below this. I fought like 1700, 1800 MR people in my climb, and I was like, holy crap, this is a completely different game. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the end of the video. Let me know if these tips helped you, or if you want like more specific Aki stuff, I could help out with that. I think I'm gonna stick with Aki, and I'm really excited for her season 2 changes. They look very, 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 very promising. And to get to master, it's 100% necessary that your DI reactions and game plan revolves around beating DIs. So check out my other guide on how to beat DI spammers. Link in the description. So if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe so I can reach my dreams of bringing Aki to life so she could end my suffering.